Code Pink and other champagne socialists head to Cuba to do some humanitarian aid in the form of mural painting and partying. Boy, do I have a lot of shit to talk about today.
We're here in the Havana Jose Marti Airport. This is just one part of the donations that we brought. There's 6,500 pounds donations. The value is about $500,000. It's a drop in the bucket for what Cuba needs, but it's a show of our solidarity with the people of Cuba and our opposition to what Trump is doing to try to strangle the Cuban people into submission.
Well, gee, I really hope that Mary Sue over here brought some oil or something, because the new embargo that they have, or the new blockade that the US has on Cuba, is for oil, nothing else. The other embargo has been in place since the 60s. But I'm pretty sure in those 6,500 pounds of goods that they brought, which, by the way, makes the plane that they flew in on burn more fuel, I doubt they brought anything to help them with energy, like solar panels, nothing. You'll see why I think that in a second here. So basically, humanitarian aid is supposed to be work, volunteer work. You go there and you bring stuff. I'm going to show this clip again later, but they spent most of their time there partying, as you can see here. The other clip from 2 seconds ago is just showing that they brought all of their stuff and they put it into a medical truck, apparently, which is, I don't know if it's government owned or not. They're claiming it isn't, but if that was the extent of your stay, you should have packed up and left after you delivered those things. You shouldn't be partying like this, especially when they're having blackouts, as I'll show in this next clip.
Before I even arrived in the city, I noticed something strange. It seemed like none of the traffic lights were working.
¿Es solo a veces o siempre no funcionan?
Without realizing it, I've arrived in Cuba during a national blackout.
So all of these champagne socialists arrive during a tough time for Cuba. Yes, because of the lack of fuel, they're having issues with rolling blackouts periodically throughout the day. But you don't join them in Cuba to stress the system more and make it worse. Like, they went there, and from what I could see, and most others could see, they didn't bring any solution or any type of humanitarian aid, as they put it, that helped them solve the blackout issue. So why bother going? Instead, they're over here painting murals. These people might see use for this mural in like 10 years when the paint is flaking off and they can eat the paint chips for some nutrients, because this helps them zero. This doesn't help at all. This is just performative. I hope part of Code Pink's humanitarian aid that they just shoved in that truck is some milk for these people, because this man has a 10-month-old child that, as you can see in this clip by Nick Creates, it's very hard to find milk, and it's very expensive.
Okay. ¿Por qué no hay leche?
But this didn't make sense to me, because back in the 1950s, I thought people wanted a Cuba Libre.
Pero son libres, ¿verdad?
No. Libre que no hay problema en la cadena. Pero no hay comida, no hay dinero. My pain is 4,100. It's nothing, no possible.
Eventually, we found one store with milk, but I still didn't understand how bad the situation was.
The one is 750.
750 pesos.
No, en dólares. En cambio, es...
¿Por solo uno?
Sí, en pesos cubanos.
¿Por qué?
Porque no hay.
Crazy, bro. It's so expensive.
It's $7.50 US for what looks like maybe powdered milk. I hope to God that these champagne socialists brought milk for these people and distribute it to them, because I don't see them being able to afford anything else in the month. Because if you missed it in that clip before, the guy said he gets paid $8 a month. So even if he can find milk, he's giving most of his pay away for that one box of milk. But judging by the fact that I didn't see any clips of them doing that because they have to film everything, I am highly suspect of them actually having brought milk and stuff like that for these people. I hope they did, though. I hope I'm wrong. Now I wanted to get into some of the damage control that some of these guys have done, because Code Pink put out a little clip debunking, quote unquote, some of the claims that people were making of what happened there. So I wanted to get into that.
Hi, I'm just back from Cuba late last night and here in Congress already with a group of 10 people walking the halls trying to push our members of Congress to support the War Powers Resolution that says Trump does not have the right to invade Cuba, and a Cuba Trade Act, it's called H.R. 7521, to lift the embargo on Cuba. And we hope that more and more people will get involved because Cuba is suffering so much right now. Trump has bragged about not a drop of oil getting to the island in the last 3.5 months.
So here I wanted to get into one of the big reasons why they're struggling so much. It's because Trump took down Maduro and arrested him, as you can see in January of 2026. Maduro was selling drugs to the States, and I think they were even involved with Iran as well. So he had to take him out. Now, there's impact on Cuba. Cuba was the force, the prevailing defense force that Maduro had, because he didn't trust his own people. It was so fucked up in Venezuela. His soldiers that he kept for his personal safety were Cuban. No shit, they're gonna have power issues after that. Yeah, there's an embargo, but it's an oil embargo. They're not. They don't have an embargo, a new embargo on produce. They already have their existing embargo that they've had since the 60s with the U.S., right? So why are they not able to produce milk? Are the farms over there not able to have cattle, chickens? It's so mismanaged over there because of this dictatorship that they have, that there's people that can't find milk for their children. And if they speak out against it, they get killed.
We also heard ridiculous lies that the medicines that we brought were being sold by the government. They're going directly to hospitals, a lot of it to pediatric hospitals, to neonatal units in those hospitals. Give me a break.
Why didn't you guys go and deliver these supplies personally? You guys were there on business. You guys were doing volunteer work, essentially, humanitarian aid, and you decide to get a third party involved to deliver these things, and you're just assuming that they're not government run, government owned, instead of delivering them yourselves personally. You guys rather spend time in Cuba partying and having a good time from that earlier clip I showed, instead of actually putting in work. I think this is the big reason everyone thinks that this Champagne Socialist get-together was fucking bullshit. Especially considering the fact that in the next clip, you're bragging about how many people you had over there. You had like 170 people or something. You'll see it in the next clip. If you had so much manpower over there, why didn't you guys deliver these goods yourselves? And instead you got a third party involved to deliver everything. You guys basically did nothing. You went there, you brought goods, which I don't know what's in them, so I can't judge fully, and you just dumped them into a truck. You should have left after that. If that was all you went there to do, you should have left.
Why didn't we stay in individual homes? Because we had 170 people in our delegation. The other thing that they've been saying is we used electricity. We had a generator in our hotel. Yes, there are generators in the hotels. We used a minimum amount of gasoline. In fact,
how the fuck do you know how much gasoline you used? Look at this clip. This is the hotel that everyone was apparently staying at. This takes a lot of energy for this generator to be running, and I'm sure it's gas powered, not solar powered. How in the fuck do you know how much energy you guys were using while staying over there? Why didn't you try to help them with their energy crisis while you were over there? Are you guys even going to make a statement about that? Were you not allowed? Like, if you're not allowed to help them in the ways they need to be helped, which is providing them with meat and meat byproduct like milk and eggs and stuff like that, and if you can't bring them ulterior sources of energy like solar or whatever, why even bother going? And look how bad the situation gets over there once this guy goes off the hotel generator line. You can't see anything. It's complete darkness. It's pitch black. People were making claims that people on ventilators died. I don't know if that's true, but I don't doubt it. I also can't blame this necessarily on these people since they've been having rolling blackouts. But again, you are adding stress to the system. You didn't make the situation any better by staying in Cuba and having a concert which adds more power needs to the system. These people are such out of touch phonies. It reminds me of this story I saw about the Amazon rainforest, that they added a road there for the next environment summit. Here, let's read this article. So Amazon forest failed to build road for climate summit. A new four-lane highway cutting through tens of thousands of acres of protected Amazon rainforest is being built for the COP30 climate summit in the Brazilian city of Belém. It aims to ease traffic to the city, which will host more than 50,000 people, including world leaders, at the conference in November. Why? Why can't you have your fucking environment summit somewhere else? What, you need a nice Instagram backdrop, so you have to build a 4-lane highway over there? There's places in Canada where it's just 2 lanes. They have as many, if not more, lanes going through the rainforest, which is supposed to be protected, than we have going through certain parts of Canada highway. What the fuck are we doing?
As the city descended into darkness, one man had some questions about our travels.
We might go to America, maybe. You think we should? No?
No,
You don't like America?
Have you been?
it's very bad.
Yeah.
There's something odd about flying into a place looking for answers, but only being left with more questions.
I take this clip as a warning to all Canadians, both liberal and conservative, because as you can see, their living conditions in Cuba are pretty rough, and yet you still have people brainwashed by propaganda, either brainwashed by propaganda or too afraid to speak the truth, and they think that the States is terrible. It's like worse than Cuba. We have people here in Canada that will defend the Liberals to their dying breath, and then you have people who are trying to have rational, reasonable conversations, and they're getting shut down in the House of Commons with fucking retarded logic. Like the other day I saw someone saying Polyev got into politics because of tendinitis because of a clip from the Joe Rogan podcast. That has no relation to why he got into politics. He started attending meetings because of his injury, but that wasn't what kept him in politics. But of course, we need to have the clickbait response for a question that Polyev didn't ask the member opposite him about anything to do with that. he was asking about getting certain MPs fired for their ineptitude, and then they come back with that kind of reply. This is the kind of horseshit fucking political theater that we deal with, and propagandized fucking media and political rhetoric that we deal with on a daily basis. So this, in my eyes, is a warning.
Okay. They also see how shitty their lives are and that money and energy goes to the hotels that aren't allowed to stay in. I know that's not as relevant now. The biggest issue in the oil embargo right now and the energy crisis has been building for years. Yes, absolutely. So this is the other aspect of it. And I personally experienced this like myself. I felt gross about the system as well because we would walk around. Okay. People are, experiencing abject poverty and darkness, complete darkness, but the hotels have generators. Hotels are privately owned, right? They're privately owned and they have access to oil, right? Because they can purchase it because there's a black market for oil. The government is aware that there's a black market for oil. They have a queue system. People with like EVs can participate in the queue system. All of this is like literal fucking on the ground reporting coming to you live from Cuba.
It's so interesting that you say that, Hasan, because the other clip of you with Will Neff and Austin makes it sound like you were only going to go to Cuba if you had access to the internet unimpeded. So you knew what the situation was like. We'll take a look at that in a second. But the fact that you claim that you felt gross about what was going on, and let's not forget the fact that you're saying that they're getting their oil illegally, because this next clip, I think you self-own yourself here.
I want to go to Cuba. Would you be down?
I fucking love Cuba.
Oh yeah, you'd be down?
Yeah, I filmed a documentary there once.
The Cuban government actually hit my contact from the embassy and told him that if the only thing stopping us from coming to Cuba was the consistent internet access, we can make it happen.
Yeah, Cuba is sick.
Wait, the government reached out to you?
So yeah, of course. It's not reached out to me. There's there's a middleman there.
It can be very illegal if the government themselves are guaranteeing that you'll have internet access while you're staying in Cuba, can it? Right? It can't be both. Is it illegal, or is the government there assisting you? These clips are not adding up. So in case there was any misconception, Austin asks Hasan, the government reached out to you, and he says, yeah, of course. Well, not me, to my middleman contact. So he is claiming that they're smuggling in oil illegally, these private owned hotels that they're only allowed to stay at. And then he's claiming that the government is saying, oh, don't worry, you need internet, we got you, buddy. It would be, I don't think this is true, but it would be so fucked up and so ironic if the reason the hospitals in Cuba didn't have power was because they moved the generator from there to this fucking hotel so that these influencers can have internet access without issue. Like, why doesn't the hospitals in Cuba have generators? Is the government not able to put generators over there? Like, they're going to these countries and they're turning a blind eye to all of these fucking issues, and they're faking, they're clutching their pearls and faking anger and outrage towards the U.S. when a lot of these issues have existed way before this embargo that was put in place in January.
It is very funny that like there is this assessment of like, how much everything I was wearing. It's like they don't realize that, one, people send me fucking free shit all the time. Two, people gift me shit all the time as well, right? Like, not that it even matters. Even if I like go out and purchase it on my own, who gives a fuck what I'm wearing? You're an idiot. Like, what? You think the price of this button up shirt is the reason why the Cubans are fucking suffering? Like, what argument is this, right?
So admittedly, I didn't care that much about the people that went there flexing their fit on these pores. But when you have such a tone-deaf, out-of-touch clip, it's going to piss people off. And I felt like I had to talk about it. People Like, he's so out of touch, he doesn't realize that it sounds worse when he explains it, saying, oh, you think I bought this expensive shirt? People gift me shit for free all the time. So that makes it even worse. Not only is it expensive, you're claiming you didn't even have to pay for it, you got it for free. Meanwhile, these people can't, some of them can't afford certain things. Some of them can't even find the shit that they need. Like, again, with the milk. The guy couldn't even find milk. He was offered money. He goes, I'd rather have milk for my kid. Let's go find some milk. Like, I don't know if Hasan had done any of this type of shit when he was there, because he didn't film it, or he hasn't posted anything that I've seen. But normally he likes to film everything he does. And I have some other clips that I'm going to show you in a second where it makes me think they kind of just went there for a vacation. But before that, I have another out of touch clip to show you.
But we got to replay that last part.
Experiencing that dichotomy is like definitely me up. Definitely.
You couldn't have done that better if you scripted it. I bet he has a Grey Poupon suppository.
Like, I don't understand. I'm literally not even in the hotel here, for the record. I'm at a friend's house, okay? This was a local's home that I'm in, okay? And not only that, but like, yeah, Ryan Grimm made me a fucking coffee. Are they saying it's because I'm drinking coffee like a gay guy? Like, what the fuck is this?
You're so fucking out of touch. The reason that people are laughing at you isn't because you're drinking coffee like a gay guy. It's because you're saying the dichotomy of the situation has you fucked up, and then you're so nonchalantly sipping coffee like a bougie fuck. That Grey Poupon thing that Gutfield references is a fancy kind of mustard. He's calling you bougie because you're over there in someone's house. Let me show you a clip of what other people in Cuba live like, because this guy who you're staying at, who could afford coffee to make for you, looks like he's living in a pretty nice house. There's other people living in literal ruins also in Havana, but you didn't show any of that.
Eventually, we found this skeleton of a building, completely fallen in on itself. This man is a part of one of the 9 families that live in the ruins of this building that once housed just one. His space is modest, just enough room for him and his wife, who's been sick for a month with a cough. Of course, there was no electricity.
He was explaining to me that every time it rains, water seeps through and pools on the floor.
Let's do a little comparison here for the slow kids in the back. The room you are in looks decent. This guy's living in a ruin. There's 9 other families in this ruin. This room is poorly lit. It's cluttered because that's the only living space they have. Like, how are you so out of touch? My God, man, the roof is even leaking. It's time to get into the clip of what I think Hasan and other Champagne socialists were actually doing while in Cuba.
Go for May Day. May Day is a huge deal because Cuba is a socialist country, and May Day is like the International Day of Solidarity for Workers.
Let's do it.
We could
this
go
is what
on.
we'll do. We'll go to Cuba, and then we'll go to Miami. No. Why not?
Because
Why would we go to
we're
Miami?
talking about like an awesome place to go to, and you want to turn it into like the pedophile crypto paradise trip.
What? I'm not. I'm just.
I hate Florida so much. Sorry.
You know, I just wanted to go to Miami. We can go to the beach.
So anyway, he can go to Miami and
Yeah,
we'll go to
you
Cuba.
stay in Miami. You can stay at the Ritz Carlton
Do you
or
think
wherever the
that Cuba
fuck.
doesn't have beaches?
No, we can go to Cuba, go to the beach, but then we can also go to Miami. We could do it all.
No, I don't want to go.
I
to
know
Miami.
Cuba has beach. It's an island.
It sounds like the only concern Hasan has is he doesn't want to go to Miami because it's apparently the crypto paradise. He doesn't say anything about not going to Cuba to party and to go to the beach. He is all for going there for a vacation, basically. Look, I wish these people were honest. They wanted to go to Cuba because it's a nice place to visit for vacation. They just needed a whistle to blow to be like, oh, look, I'm a good person because I'm going there for humanitarian reasons. They didn't want to just admit like, hey, I want to go on vacation. It might be a quote unquote problematic place for some of you. They were worried about backlash from their community, is what I think is the issue here. They didn't actually go there for any type of like aid or anything. The only reason I'm saying this is because of the lack of footage from Hasan in this case. He normally films everything, so I haven't seen very many clips of what he actually did while he was over there, and it leads me to believe he was just there to party, which is okay. I don't have a problem with it, but just admit it. Just say that was what you were there to do. Don't fucking start virtue signaling. And before I go, I'd like to thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd like to leave you with one other clip, just so that we all remember why we're fighting for our freedom of speech and why it's so important to maintain our freedom of speech here in North America.
In Cuba, if you say something and it's proposal of the government, you got to do it's very hard to stay in Cuba. Imagine you have kids and you don't have food or milk. Imagine you are a drunk guy with many drinks and you don't see a future in the country.